What's up, guys? Luke here. I've got Marcus here with me today, and we're going to be talking about hiring drivers and what you need to look out for when you're hiring a new driver. Whether you're, adding a new unit to your fleet, or you're replacing a driver that's already in a unit. We're going to go over some of the things that you should look out for when hiring these drivers and how it can affect you.
Yep, and some key points, that you'd want to check up on before you add that driver to your insurance policy is their MVR, the amount of experience they had, their scores with the FMCSA, even the amount of experience they've had in the industry, where they are domiciled. All of these things are going to affect your price whenever you add that driver onto your insurance policy.
Yeah, all that matters, and reason being is because the way it kind of breaks down is you've got one carrier pretty much in the industry that isn't going to require 2+ years of CDLA experience if the operator's going to be running a tractor or a vehicle that requires a CDLA. So
Exactly.
that carrier is Progressive. They'll pretty much let you add whoever you want to. They have their own limitations and exceptions, but one of the restrictions is not years of CDLA experience, and they can have a rougher MVR report, but that you are going to pay for it. So you'll pay for it with the insurance premium versus having an experienced driver. Now, Progressive, they're going to charge you for adding a driver no matter what, but they'll charge you less the more experience and the better the driving record is for that applicant.
Exactly. And
So
that's one of the key factors is the motor vehicle report. What they have on their motor vehicle report in the last 3 to 5 years. I believe Progressive is 3 years. They go back 3 years.
Yeah, usually 3 years is what they'll look back. And so your other carriers besides Progressive.
And let me touch base on that. And what we mean by 3 years is that means from this date. And that means in the last 3 years, what have they had happen? Have they had a speeding ticket? Have they had a moving violation? Ran a stop sign? Ran a stoplight? Stuff such as that. If that pulls up on their motor vehicle report at the time of adding this driver to your policy, it is going to cause an increase compared to if they didn't have that violation.
Exactly. And so your other carriers besides Progressive, the way that they handle drivers is they're all going to require 2+ years of CDLA experience.
Yep.
Some of them will make some exceptions. If you can provide a resume or a written statement stating that this driver has had 2, 3 years, 4 years of for-hire
And this is for heavy truck operations, stuff that requires a CDL. That's when they need the CDL experience.
Yep. And so you may be able to get by with, say, they ran a box truck for a few years that didn't require a CDLA. If we can prove that and show that they understand the industry and will be a good fit, some of those carriers will make an exception for that. Others will not. They just simply they are required 2+ year CDL.
It's a set of guidelines written in stone, and you have to follow them.
Yeah. There is no exceptions with some of them, and with that group of carriers, some of them have a pass or fail system, so they just have this set of guidelines like no major violations, 2+ year CDL experience. Maybe a few other things, and if they check those boxes off, they're able to be added with no additional charge. Then other carriers are similar; they require all those same things, but they will charge you for adding that driver. It's just they charge you less the more experience they have and the better their MVR looks.
Yeah, and you just have to realize that this isn't like a person sitting in a room doing this. Most of the time, it is systems. It's just yeses and nos. It's all it's all algorithms, and that's what's computing this price. It's not someone sitting in an office writing up this price and thinking, oh, he's had this experience, I can make that exception. No, it's
all based off of criteria.
It's all based on criteria.
Yeah, it's all systematic, and there's reasoning for all of that. They charge their rates for specific reasons. So usually because of losses, what they've paid out in losses is going to reflect on what they charge for such drivers or whatever the situation may be. But yeah, there's some tips on what you need to look out for drivers, and a huge thing is work with your insurance agent.
Exactly.
Because if you can send them the applicant's information on the front end, and maybe
social security number, driver's license, that's what's needed to run a motor vehicle report.
Your agent will run that report for you if you haven't already.
Yeah.
And so send all your applicants' MVRs over to your agent, or all their information over, so they can run your MVRs for you, and decide from there. They can plug in each driver and see what it would cost to add each one, and then you can kind of base your decision off of that, or that can be part of your hiring process. Is what does your
It
record
should
look
be.
like?
It really should be a part of your hiring process. If it isn't,
it definitely
it's
needs
due
to be
diligence.
Yep. So they and things that can affect you, like as far as your drivers go. We recently had an insured that his out of service scores were great. He had great inspections. Rarely had any issues with his trucks, and he couldn't figure out why underwriters kept telling him that his out of service scores were horrible, or there was all these issues. His prices were through the roof, and we did a little more digging and found out that it was actually because of his drivers, and that they weren't logging their hours correctly. They weren't cooperating, I guess, at weigh stations, and they were causing him tons of issues that he had no idea about. So since we found that out, he was able to make some internal adjustments, and we're hoping for a better renewal next year for him. But yeah, that's just one scenario of how these drivers can affect you, and you don't even realize it. He's paying tens of thousands of dollars extra a year because of drivers' poor decisions or mistakes, or not being so thoughtful about his authority as he would be. So
and this was a situation to where like I tell many people, is your first question you should ask your insurance agent is, how much would it cost me to add this driver? Send us the information, or your insurance agent, and you ask them that question, how much would it cost me to add this driver? And the guy that he's referencing, he's not one of those clients. He's the kind of guy that calls us and says, hey, I need this driver added. Yep. He didn't do his proper due diligence, and it cost him later on down the road.
Yep. But now he is, though. He's figured that out, and I mean, we're making this video so that not everyone.
And we're
going
to post the resources too. We're going to post the resources to multiple MVR databases that allow you to pull an accurate MVR.
Yep.
We're gonna
do your own research too.
Exactly.
Yeah, your own due diligence, and
it's fairly inexpensive. It's a fast process. I'd say $15 to $25 depending on the state you're in and the service you use.
Yep.
But within 10 to 15 minutes, you can know if that is a driver that you want to add to your business. The MVR is going to give you how long they've had their CDL. You're going to see the date that they acquired their CDL. What is it? The med pass? They have
their med cert.
Med cert, and that is another thing. You have to make sure that their med cert is
current.
Current.
They've gotten their.
It'll cause issues.
Yeah, they've had their physical. Yeah, if they haven't had their physical done and done their urinalysis, then you're gonna have issues.
Yep, and those are all things you're gonna see on the MVR as well.
All right, we hope this information was helpful about hiring drivers. Stay tuned for part 2. We're going to go a little more in depth and show you some stuff on the computer of how you can pull these MVRs and do a little bit of your own due diligence. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up the information we have about drivers today.
Yeah, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to post these key resources in the description below. We're going to go ahead and post the MVR resource that we use. We'll post a couple popular ones. And we're also going to touch up on those in the next video we post. And we'll post a few key points down there as well. So if you want to recap on anything you saw in the video today, just go and check out our description.
Yep. Hey, and we'll also put our contact information in the description below as usual. But other than that, we'll catch you guys next time. Thank you.